Good evening. It's 8 o'clock, a dramatic day of political developments today. From the airport tarmac, Congress leader Pawan Khera is arrested. By the evening, he gets interim bail. The Supreme Court has an emergency hearing at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're tracking all the top breaking news in the story. The top headlines: a dramatic arrest in the morning and bail by the evening. Congress's Pawan Khera is arrested from Delhi's airport tarmac. Assam police deplane him from the Indigo Raipur flight for comments on the Prime Minister. On their way to the Raipur Congress plenary, leaders protest on the tarmac. FIRs filed in Assam, Lucknow and Varanasi. The Assam Chief Minister said cops are duty-bound to arrest Khera after an FIR. The Supreme Court's emergency hearing within hours. A video of Pawan Khera's comments on the Prime Minister are played in the Supreme Court. The Congress says that he's ready to offer an unconditional apology. The Supreme Court orders protection till the next hearing, allows interim bail from a local court. Assam's lawyer argues that the comments against the Prime Minister are disloyalty to the nation. And now it's the Delhi Chief Minister in the dock after Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Kejriwal's key aide is questioned by the Enforcement Directorate today. The CBI will also question Manish Sisodia on Sunday. Is an arrest possible? Unprecedented scenes since the 1980s as swords are out in Amritsar with pro-Khalistan slogans. Pro-Khalistan preachers supporters protest as his key aide is arrested. The cops give in, say they'll release the aid of the pro-Khalistan leader as they're surrounded by sword-wielding people. The world's top finance ministers in India today for the G20 meeting of finance ministers. The Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman calls for global crypto regulation and just transition to green energy. US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says their policies are working to reduce Russia's revenue from oil. NDTV exclusive, the details of how Nasir and Junaid were killed. Police report says they were dragged for 20 hours by two different groups of cow vigilantes. One group took them to the police station, the Haryana police turned them away and they were killed brutally after that. Today is a day of big political happenings. It's about the BJP versus the opposition. Congress spokesperson Pawan Khera is held. Kejriwal's key aide is questioned and the BJP holding protests against Manish Sisodia for his role, they claim, in a snooping scam. But first, let's go across to the big story, the 6-hour political thriller. First, the arrest from the airport tarmac, then an emergency Supreme Court hearing, and then eventually bail in the evening as ordered by the Supreme Court. Let's just track those events.
What is the reason? He's our leader, he's General Secretary, Member of Parliament. He's in charge of... What is the reason?
A dramatic arrest of a senior opposition leader on the tarmac of the Delhi airport.
There are certain tell us, what is the reason? Only we want to know that. ये बंद कर लो यार, don't record.
Pawan Khera, the Congress spokesperson, was in an Indigo flight to Raipur for the party's convention when he was told to get off the plane.
पुलिस आई और कहा कि असम पुलिस ने कोई एफआईआर दर्ज की है, तो हमने कहा कि आप गिरफ्तार कर लीजिए, प्रोडक्शन वारंट मजिस्ट्रेट का दीजिए या गिरफ्तारी का लिखित ऑर्डर दीजिए, ना वो एफआईआर देते, इससे ज्यादा गैर कानूनी की बात।
मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनको जमानत दी और एक तमाचा उनके ऊपर गिरा।
It turned out the arresting police team came all the way from Assam. The charge, allegedly derogatory remarks against the Prime Minister made in Mumbai at a press conference on the 17th of this month. Khera was taken away for medical examination and the Congress went to the Supreme Court. The Chief Justice of India agreed to hear their challenge at 3 p.m. Top lawyer and Congress leader Abhishek Singhvi argued it was a play of word and personally should have been avoided, but that it was a slip of tongue and Khera has apologized. The ASG Aishwarya Bhatti, arguing for the Assam police, accused Khera of spreading religious disharmony. The Chief Justice asked, how is it a case of religious disharmony? Apart from Assam, there are 2 FIRs against Khera in Lucknow and Varanasi. The Congress called this harassment and the court upheld its plea to club the cases in one police station. The police argued the demeanor, which it is said, is wrong. It's against the duly elected Prime Minister of the country. It shows disloyalty. The entire press conference has to be seen. It is a derogatory remark made to incite disaffection against the Prime Minister. The court ordered interim bail to be given by a local Delhi court, with the Chief Justice saying there has to be some level of discourse. We are protecting you. The decision to give interim relief to Pawan Khera came only after the Chief Justice of India and his fellow judges heard what Mr. Pawan Khera had to say in the Mumbai press conference, not once, but at least thrice. Clearly, they were satisfied, but only decided after saying that we are protecting you, but they expect a better level of discourse. With camera person Sushil Rathi, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
And on NDTV, both the newsmakers in this story. Tanushree speaking exclusively to Pawan Khera just after he got bail, and Vedant speaking to Assam's Chief Minister, where Assam seems to be the state where most FIRs are now being filed against opposition leaders. Listen to his response.
We right now have with us Pawan Khera, senior Congress leader, the man of the hour. Sir, thank you for speaking to NDTV. Aapko finally bail mil gaya hai. How do you see this entire case against yourself?
This is the victory of the legal process of this country, of this great democracy called India, which we are trying to uphold and fight for.
So finally, are you going to Raipur, sir?
Yes, of course.
Tomorrow morning, is it?
I am trying to go tonight, otherwise tomorrow morning.
So, the Supreme Court said there needs to be some kind of discourse even in the political sphere. The comments you made, was it a slip of the tongue?
I will not comment on that right now, since it's a sub judice matter. All that I want to say is that the majesty of law has upheld my rights, my liberties.
So the Congress leaders are saying that it's a attack on the fundamental rights. Do you see?
Absolutely, they are right. Absolutely. Without any FIR copy being given to me, without any notice being served on me, I was asked to deplane as if I was a terrorist.
Many Congress leaders are also saying it looks like a unsaid emergency, you know.
You know what's happening around. This is not the only example of people's rights and liberties being curtailed. Today it's me, tomorrow it could be anyone.
BJP alliance, the big story back in Delhi was the arrest of Mr. Pawan Khera. And, the kind of, do you think the kind of overdrive that Assam police went into arresting him, do you think it was arresting him from the tarmac? And
No. I mean, how somebody has been arrested, what procedure followed is a different thing. But if a FIR is come and is registered under a relevant section of law, police is duty bound to arrest the person. Now, whether he is in sky or whether he is in earth. So if an offence has been committed, police has to arrest him. We don't go by the manner.
Right. My last question to you, sir. The kind of overdrive that Assam police has gone into, in this kind of clampdown on the opposition leaders, whether it was Jignesh Mevani, now,
What is clamp down? Can you abuse a father? Because I said something about father of a leader, Congress has filed 130 FIR against me in Telangana. So what is about that?
Right.
So just you be reassured that whenever an offence is committed, there will be clampdown.
And in the road to 2024, likely to be many more dramatic centre versus opposition moments. And let's just shift to what's happening with the centre versus AAP, because now, after Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, is the Delhi Chief Minister and AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal the next target. Ahead of Manish Sisodia's questioning with the CBI this Sunday, where some reports say he could be arrested, there's now enforcement-directed heat on the Delhi Chief Minister as they questioned his key aide, Bibhav Kumar, in the Delhi liquor policy case. Bibhav was questioned after allegations of FaceTime calls between the Indo-Spirits MD and the Chief Minister, Mr. Kejriwal. So could this become more trouble for AAP from the centre's enforcement agencies, as the possibility of Manish Sisodia's arrest could happen this Sunday? Today, also massive BJP protests in Delhi after the CBI alleged that there was snooping by the Delhi government, and this was headed by Manish Sisodia. Also under the ED lens is the South Group, with BRS leader K. Kavita's ex-chartered accountant also arrested. So we're seeing the protests out on the streets, but what's happening inside elected houses is even worse. So this is what happened last night at the municipal corporation. And while there were standing committee elections, complete pandemonium, bottles thrown, in fact, is reminiscent of what happened in the UP Assembly in the 1990s. So how exactly are these councillors going to work together for the welfare of the people?
ये बीजेपी और आम आदमी पार्टी के पार्षद एक दूसरे के ऊपर बोतलबाजी कर रहे हैं, बोतल फेंक फेंक के मार रहे हैं।
जहाँ पे वो बार बार लड़ाई झगड़ा गाली गलौच मार पिटाई कर रहे हैं।
उनको डर है कि शायद स्टैंडिंग में इससे ज्यादा न चले जाएं। अपने पार्षदों पर भरोसा नहीं, इसीलिए कहा कि मोबाइल अंदर जाना अलाउ करना चाहिए।
जो भाजपा के सदस्य हैं उन्होंने देखा कि ये तो सीक्रेट बैलेट का वॉयलेशन हो रहा है। लोग फोटो खींच करके बाहर ला रहे हैं, व्हाट्सएप कर रहे हैं।
2022 में एमसीडी के जो चुनाव हुए थे तब भी इलेक्शन कमीशन ने कहा था मोबाइल फोन अंदर ले जाना बैन नहीं है, बशर्ते वो साइलेंट होना चाहिए।
देखिए, अगर आप ऐसे ही हंगामा करते रहेंगे आगे की कार्रवाई में चर्चा भी नहीं होगी।
Luckily, our reporter Sharad Sharma managed to survive that, but I really think we should warn that these visuals are disturbing for young children. It's really shameful to see what our elected councillors are busy with. In other news, extremely disturbing visuals coming in from Amritsar in Punjab. In fact, these are visuals not seen since the 1990s, where you have people, hordes of people out in their thousands with swords surrounding cops because a self-styled pro-Khalistan preacher's close aide has been arrested. The police had to eventually come out and say that this aide will be released. But just look at these shocking visuals bringing back extremely disturbing reminders.
In dramatic scenes, hundreds of supporters of a self-styled religious preacher, Amritpal Singh, broke through police barricades in Amritsar, Punjab on Thursday. The supporters, who were armed with swords and guns, were protesting against the arrest of Amritpal's aide, Lovepreet Tufan, who was booked under charges of kidnapping, theft, rioting, causing injury and unlawful assembly.
24 ਘੰਟੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੂਫਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਊਗਾ, ਅਸੀਂ 24 ਘੰਟੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਟ ਕਰਨੀ। ਸ਼ਾਮਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ, ਸ਼ਾਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੀਵਾਨ ਸੱਜਣਗੇ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੂਫਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਊਗਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, ਪਰਚਾ ਰੱਦ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਗੇ, ਇਹ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ, ਫਿਰ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਵੀ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਵੀ ਪਰਚਾ ਗਲਤ ਸੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਰੱਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। ਜਦੋਂ ਪਰਚਾ ਰੱਦ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਾਂਗੇ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਚੇ ਰੱਦ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਅੱਜ ਨਜ਼ਰਬੰਦ ਕੀਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਉਣਗੇ। ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੇ, ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਅਹਿਸਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਅਤ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਬਾਅਦ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ।
Punjab police backed down amid protests, saying that Lovepreet is innocent and that they will discharge him.
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੁੱਖ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰ ਆ ਜੀ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਵੀਡੈਂਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲਵਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਫੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਡਿਸਚਾਰਜ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਐਵੀਡੈਂਸ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਆ ਜੀ, ਉਹਦੇ ਆਧਾਰ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਚਾਰਜ ਕਰਾਵਾਂਗੇ।
The incident raises questions on Punjab Police's decision to release a man accused of kidnapping and whether that decision was made after the pro-Khalistani leader's open threat. Nayantara Singh for NDTV.
An extremely sensitive situation there. Moving to the other big headline, well, finance ministers from across the world, in fact, G20's finance ministers represent 80% of the world's economy, are in India today in a meeting in Bengaluru. The finance minister, meeting her counterparts, has stressed for global crypto regulation and also a just green transition. The US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, speaking here, also made the point that the United States is backing Ukraine financially as well, and that the US policy has squeezed the revenues that Russia is getting from its oil.
The first big set of meetings in India's G20. Some of the world's most powerful finance ministers and bank governors in India's IT capital, Bengaluru, including the finance ministers of Japan, Italy, the US Treasury Secretary, and the managing director of the International Monetary Fund. Concerns over Ukraine were top priority, with the US making it clear they were backing Kyiv for as long as possible.
Putin's war has been a strategic failure for the Kremlin. Ukraine still stands, and NATO and our global coalition stand united behind it. Our twin goals are to degrade Russia's military-industrial complex and reduce the revenues that it can use to fund its war. As President Biden has said, we will stand with Ukraine in its fight for as long as it takes.
The US position on Ukraine is in stark contrast with India, which is buying oil from Russia and which balances its relationship with Russia and Ukraine. As far as the economy is concerned, India remains a bright spot. The International Monetary Fund says India will have a high growth rate of 6.8% for the year ending in March. Next financial year, the IMF projects 6.1 for India, still way above the global average. India will provide 15% global growth in 2023. Today's meeting of finance ministers comes ahead of a crucial meeting of some of the world's most important foreign ministers who will be here early next month for the G20 meetings. This includes Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. India has emerged as a voice through G20 to discuss the financial distress faced by the world caused by the war. And other major issues that remain as a top priority on discussion is also especially strengthening the development bank and also the vulnerability debt, the global vulnerability debt, more importantly, economy-related issues to solve through especially digital economy and climate tracking. At G20 in Bengaluru, with Kumar Shrija for NDTV.
Well, in other news, this horrific story, we've been tracking the death of two men, Junaid and Nasir. Saurabh has exclusive new details of how these two men actually died. And Saurabh, when you actually see what you're reporting, the fact that they could have been saved, they were actually handed over to their murderers.
Absolutely, Sonia. There were two groups who operated in this whole murder case. The first group, which includes Rinku Saini, Monu Manesar, Lokesh Shingla, and they were informers of Haryana police as well. They abducted Junaid Nasir first, beat them up, and then they've taken them to Haryana police station, Haryana cops. When Haryana cops refused to admit these two, telling that they are too injured, they might die in the police station, then these people called other group of cow vigilantes, and then they handed Junaid and Nasir, and that they were badly injured. Then the second group murdered Junaid and Qasim, and then the second group traveled almost 250 kilometers, Sonia, in the span of 20 hours in Haryana, and then in Bhiwani, on the late night of 16th February, they burnt the bodies along with the car Bolero. And as of now, Haryana and Rajasthan police, they are doing raids, but they've only managed to arrest just one accused, Rinku Saini. They have added 8 more names in this whole case. So there are cow vigilantes, one set of cow vigilantes which abducted Junaid and Nasir. They operate in the region of Mewat, Nuh, Gurugram, and the second group of cow vigilante which murdered Junaid and Junaid and Nasir and then burned their bodies in Bhiwani. They are from Bhiwani, Karnal, Jind, Jhajjar. And the big question is regarding the role of Haryana police, Sonia, because Haryana police had no clue that these cow vigilantes are roaming around with the bodies of Junaid and Nasir They started from Gurugram, then they went to Jhajjar, then to Jeend, and then to Bhiwani for almost 20 hours. In that Bolero car, in fact, they were escorted by other cars as well. So far, Monu Manesar is still at large, according to my sources in Rajasthan Police. Police is saying that Monu Manesar was not at spot, but definitely he was in touch with these abductors and murderers, because when Rinku Saini and his team abducted and beat Junaid and Nasir, when they saw that they are about to die, then they contacted Monu Manesar for the help, and then Monu Manesar coordinated with the second group of these cow vigilantes who reached at the spot and took Nasir and Junaid and later murdered them and then taken them to Bhiwani and burned the bodies so that they are not caught.
No, absolutely horrific details accessed by you, Saurabh, because while of course it's shocking that these cow vigilantes are taking the law into their own hands, this is murder. The culpability of the police cannot be looked away, because the fact that they released these two men in such a badly injured state, that these cow vigilantes are allowed to pick them up, and as you pointed out, for 200 kilometers they were driving and not one police van or anyone actually stopped them. This is from Gurugram, right at the borders of Delhi, right through, as you pointed out, across Haryana. We'll be tracking that story. Saurabh, thanks so much for those exclusive details.